Hi friends, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People, and I will be, in a second, talking to you guys about the enfp-infj relationship. It's enfp versus infj, or plus infj. How do they do as a couple? Basically the topic of conversation here. And I'm dealing with this Alina V lady here. She asks, what's your speculation on the INFJ-ENFP relationship? I say, bad deal for the INFJ. ENFP will be happier in that relationship and less deserving of happiness than the INFJ. And she asks, what does less deserving mean? I used to be in a long-term relationship with ENFP, and I'm still trying to understand why it didn't go well. Lots of hoarded feelings. The lack of TI in him, I guess. So I answered this question, and then after I answered it, I looked at her question again, or looked at her comment, and I thought, what is hoarded? What do you mean by hoarded feelings? So I'm asking her that. This was my answer to it. TI correlates strongly with fairness. Polar TI, which the ENFP has, equals constitutionally unfair. In other words, they don't expect shit to be the same rules for them and for you. Paired with NE, it sounds like, in other words, polar TI paired with NE sounds like everything is open to interpretation and all interpretations are valid. In contrast, NI correlates strongly with conscious awareness of metaphysical truths as facts, not interpretations, i.e., X is wrong, Y is a great song, Z is totally unfair. Thus, you have conflict between the NI epistemological base of the INFJ and the it's a combination of things for the ENFP. It's the polar TI, of course, but it's also being paired with NE as the dominant function means that instead of working in coordination with the INFJ's NI, it only works in coordination with the INFJ's NI on half the things, if that. Because the problem with INFJ and ENFP is that ENFP, unlike ENTP, doesn't have the same functions in reverse order in the 2-3. You got the conflicting functions in the same order. So it's like they got FE second, ENFP has FI second. Well, okay, I guess that completes the Fs as tool functions. But those approaches to any given problem are going to often conflict, and it's a deliberation issue, you know. And then also, the next one, the TITE thing. Well, they have each other's polar as their motivational function. That might work, except, again, judging functions are in conflict with each other so much, it doesn't work like that with judging functions. It might work like that with epistemological functions. It might work like that with action functions. It doesn't work like that with judging functions. So the bottom line is it's insane to think that ENFP INFJ could possibly ever work. It's absolutely insane. And it's got to be one of the worst pairings I could imagine. Did I finish reading this already? No. And I correlate strongly with conscious awareness of metaphysical truths as facts, not interpretation, i.e. law. So, you. Boyfriend, you said this and that and those. Poorly punctuated. Boyfriend, you said this and that, and those are unfair things to say because of the other. Boyfriend, that's just your opinion, baby. You. But, boyfriend, my interpretation's just as valid. But yesterday you said X was okay when you wanted X. Now I want it, and you say it's not okay? God, you are so literal. Don't you understand? That was different. It was a different day, and you know I was feeling sad. You said so yourself. What the fuck is going on? Is this some kind of joke? Is it? Well, ENFPs, INFJs, stay away from each other. That's what I predict will happen with you guys. Because if you're motivated for TI consistency as your fundamental thing, and everything about your partner is failing that in every sense, then you're going to have problems. It makes no sense that it would be like, for me, if you got FE polar and I've got FE dominant one, that's fine. Because if I've got, if like I say an INTJ, it's got FE polar, I've got FE third. Not a problem. Why? Because FE doesn't work like that. You know, it's like I need to be able to manage other people's perceptions. I'm concerned about how much you value me. And so, obviously, if you have bad FE, the only problem that's going to arise is you're not displaying to me that you value me enough. But that's something that is I need more of from you in a way that can be met. It's a need that can be met. It's understandable. Like, okay, well, you're not voicing enough love to me in an emotional display kind of a way that my FE's not picking up on it. But my FE will be satisfied if it figures out that you're showing love in other ways, right? Now, in contrast, whereas we don't use it's a really interesting question. It's got me really thinking here, and I'm sorry for stumbling around like this, but we don't use FE to resolve conflicts for the purposes of in a zero sum way. We don't use FE to resolve conflicts that are zero sum. We use FE to avoid zero sum resolutions. That is to say, FE makes sure everybody feels like they're taking away some victory from a thing, whereas TI is so often appalled by that. That's where TI and FE come into conflict, but then an individual who has both, as if you have one, you necessarily have the other one. So, that's where they occasionally come into conflict. A conflict with each other is that FE's concerned about other people's valuing me, and so then even though I'm completely right, I'm going to want to make sure that they feel like they still like me. So, I'll pad shit or make it softer or whatever so that they'll still like me. If the other person's lacking in that, well, that would be a problem if you're seeking to be managed like that. But if you're an ENTP, for example, or anybody else, an ESTP, then you've got a different purpose going on there. You're like, my job is to manage your perceptions. Your job is to have your perceptions managed. It's like that, So it's a different ballgame. I don't know, but if you've got TE in the third slot, well, now you're looking for outcomes, and that's your only way to fairness. Your only way to fairness is the fact that the other person can be unfair, and you'll try to achieve the outcomes for them anyway, but that's not what INFJ wants. TI polar comes up afoul of TI third slot in a way that FE polar does not come up afoul of FE third slot, because that INFJ with wanting consistency as a sense of fulfillment in his life, in the way that ENTP wants to be loved or wants people's perceptions managed how he wants them as a life thing. Well, I mean, with TI, you want consistency, and your partner has TI polar, that is called upon as a tool to use in conflicts. I don't prefer FE to use as a tool in conflicts. You might prefer FE to use a tool as conflict INFJ, but your partner's not going to be much more cooperative with that because your partner's offended by the notion of using FE to resolve conflicts. Naturally, the more developed you are, the more you're going to shift to using your TI. Just as I develop more, I recognize the validity of an FE framework more, and even though I make some videos where I trash FE and shit, and maybe I don't display that great FE or whatever, I don't know. But the fact is, as I get older, I get less married to my preferred functions, even if I don't use them less or something. At least my narratives get less married to my functions and more perspectivist. This is a rambling one, but I might redo it. I might just put it up because I think there's good ideas in here, but I have to work through them. I'll probably redo it. I don't know. I'll watch it, and then I'll decide. Okay, so I want to finish this train of thought up if I can, which basically says, if you fail on TI, it's much worse than if you fail on FE, basically. If you got third slot TI and third slot FE, because FE has a utilitarian kind of TE bent to it in general. You're not looking... Your TI will constrain FE because it'll say, that does work out well for perceptions, Eric, but that's not consistent with blah, blah, blah. With these axioms or whatever. Because ultimately being perceived well is a victory, even if it's a different shade of well than you intended. That's the difference. That's the difference. Right there. FE's kind of like TE in that regard. It's the way that we get shit that doesn't make any sense. So, what we do so, EHPs do so resignedly. You know, we'd much rather win fairly than win unfairly, and we see FE as winning unfairly. I see it as such. The challenge then is going to be for NTs and shit to understand that the bewilderment that we experience with individuals who refuse to engage logically, in other words, through TI parsing and debate and argumentation and discourse and stuff, that is clash focused and distinction making and eliminating of things, you know? That process, people who do it really badly or don't know how to do it or whatever, they piss us off. They piss me off. They fucking piss me off. Because I'm trying to be fair. But it's not possible to be fair. TI, if you're dealing with somebody who's got TI polar, like an ENFP, you can't be fair with them. They don't speak that language. They don't understand what it means. They might come to sort of kind of understand it eventually. Like I kind of understand FI now. But when I say they don't know what it means to be fair, I mean, for them, it's like it was with me when I went to the shrink for the marriage counseling. What was that like? Well, when I said to the therapist, see, I don't know what you guys mean when you say love. I don't know what love is. And he's like, I know you don't. And I was like, what the fuck kind of answer is that? That's not explaining anything. But of course, point is, he could tell I was blind and I was never going to be able to see that this was red, no matter how much he described to me the process by which he saw that it was red. Same thing is true with ENFPs. They're blind to this shit. How is a medical miracle? Because he is one of the smartest TI successful ENFPs I've ever encountered. Most ENFPs simply don't engage about the TI shit. Neff likes to play, like me. She would like to make little shit together and stuff like that. That's great. I love that. I don't have a problem with ENFPs at all. I genuinely don't, because unlike a lot of other types, they don't try to argue with me when they're wrong. But if you are in a relationship with one of them, well, then you got a whole another bag of worms, because it's not enough for them to not persist in wrongness in words. You might have actual, hey, I need you to stop blah 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 blahing all the time, or hey, it really hurts my feelings when you blah. That argument probably worked fine with an ENFP, but as a TI user, you think INFJ, you go, well, that's bullshit. As an FE user, you go, well, I don't want to have to, your perceptions be like pity for me as a means of motivating you or something. So there's a real conflict of values there. So the moral of this story, this long-winded and not very efficient video, but I don't really feel like doing it again, so I'm just going to probably throw it up there, is INFJs and ENFPs should not be together as a couple, and if they are, run over and hit them with sticks right now. Thanks for watching Talking with Fans, people, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Wait, I want to see something before I stop, though. Did she reply to my last comment? I want to ask because I want to see what she said meant by hoarded whatever she said. Oh, yeah, hoarded this, yeah. Helena B. What's your
Hello, my name is Host Eric, and welcome to Talking.
What's your speculation? Hey there, what's your speculation? I don't have any speculation. I forgot how to speculate. You did not forget how to speculate. You're lying. I'm not lying. I'm not. I swear. Yes, you are. Liar. Okay, I'm lying. Fine. You got me, I'm lying. I'm lying, you're crying, and we're gonna all be dying pretty soon.
Hello, my...
Here on the Rhyming with Iron Network. Welcome to the Rhyming with Iron Network, where all words rhyme with iron. Words such as lion, I'm shy, and pie, and trying, flying, buying, all sorts of words. See you later.